So Wolfman came out, and it was just a huge bomb, basically, absolutely huge bomb. You were too kind using that werewolf image for the sting of their culture, because this thing just looked more like I don't know, like a meth addict that had been rolled.
It was that is one of the
Basically.
worst. It was one of the worst prosthetics and that I've ever seen in a werewolf movie, and
Well,
I've
you haven't
watched.
even watched the bloody film. It's important to.
I yeah,
Yeah.
and I well, again, I've seen a lot of stuff, especially some backstage things, clips, and
Oh, it's my video. I didn't
so
know.
of course, yeah, you're gonna be in. You're gonna find yourself there quite a bit, I imagine now, considering he's
It's
on the
funny.
show on Thursdays. But anyway,
That's brilliant.
but I will tell you that 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 I was very disappointed. I mean, I've only made it halfway through Dog Soldiers, and you know,
We're not talking about dog soldiers. We're here to talk about Wolfman.
oh, all right, sorry.
This is the prosthetics of the
They're
Wolfman. Does it look very
awful.
wolf-like, Bo?
No, they're awful.
It looks like. Do you remember American Werewolf in London?
Rahoo.
That's like, where is that, like late 70s or very early 80s? It looks worse than that. It looks worse than that.
That's basically what it is for the whole movie, to be fair. It doesn't really change that much.
One thing I will say, when you first mentioned we're going to talk about Wolfman, I immediately thought the guy from UK Gladiators. Do you remember Gladiators?
Yeah, I remember.
In the 90s, there's one of the gladiators called Wolf.
I remember. Yeah.
It's like, wait, what's Wolfman done now? I thought, is he still alive even? It's like, oh no, okay. So anyway, yeah, it looks poor. It looks poor, I've got to say. I won't be making an effort to watch it.
It was bloody terrible. So I went to watch this. So obviously, you know, this is a bit of a larger video, you know, topic, whatever. It's more, I want to tell you guys the way they framed certain things, because I think that'd be very, very funny to get your reaction. And it's completely true. There'll be people in the chat that'll be like, yep, I agree. I've seen it. They did do this. But also, you know, the box office earnings are atrocious as well. So the budget for this movie, I think, was about $25 million, if I remember rightly off the top of my head. And I think it's done now. The overall box office, because I can't, again, off the top of my head, I can't bloody remember. So it's done $12 million. $12 million opening weekend on a $25 million budget.
Ouch.
Yeah. Which is really bad. It was expected to bring in somewhere in the region of $20 million in its opening weekend, which would have been better. But 12 is woof, big woof. Really, really, really big woof. That's pretty awful. Fundamentally, the film is boring. Actually, it's a werewolf film that is boring, and it doesn't really make any sense. So let me just talk you through some bits and pieces. So, some of these reviews are funny. So, I don't know if they've got any of the reviews here that talk about, but they don't. So there was a lot of pre-reviews coming out about this movie that mentioned generational trauma, right? And you're like, okay, what's this then? That's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird thing to say. And they talk about generational trauma. So I went in to watch this in Swindon, no less, as well, in the newly refurbished View over in Swindon. It's actually really nice. They've got reclinable chairs, mate. Reclinable chairs with a footrest in bloody Swindon.
Is that the View? Sorry to get something really specific that most people won't care about, but is that the View that's upstairs near that Nando's?
No. This is the View that was the Empire Cinema in. Anyway, Greenbridge, I think it's called. Anyway, point is, right?
Yeah,
I went there to watch this film, and I'm watching it, and the intro, the first 15 minutes of this film, is set in the past, right? So it's set in the past, and it's the young boy and his father. They're in Oregon in the woods, and they're you know, it starts out with a boy waking up, you know. So he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I've got to, you know, make the bed," because because his dad is obviously going to come in. It's a bit militaristic, but not really. You don't really get a sense like he's going to be in trouble because his dad doesn't come in to look at the bed or anything like that. He just says, be ready by like 0700 hours or something like this. You're like, okay, it's not that major. But anyway, and his son's eating his breakfast, and he then gives his plate to the dog or looks at the dog and he smiles and he brings his plate up, and it doesn't really seem massively weird in terms of the interaction between the father and son. There's a point to me saying this. I know it just sounds like I'm rabbiting on, but there is a point. I'm trying to paint a picture that they're very clearly trying to imply something that isn't actually happening, or they're trying to imply that this guy is super, super strict and is traumatizing his son. But hear me out how he traumatizes his son. Okay. So he needs to get ready for 0700 hours. They both got guns. They're going out into the woods to hunt. Right? That's quite a nice thing to do with your boy. I'd like to go hunting. That'd be epic. Right? Anyway, they're walking along, and his son goes to reach for some mushrooms, and his dad's like, no, don't. They're the death cap mushrooms. They will kill you. Explains to his son that they're going to kill him. And his son just tunes out, doesn't even listen, doesn't pay attention, mate. Doesn't pay attention at all. Obviously, if your boy's not listening to you, telling him that, hey, you could probably die from eating this thing that you were just about to try and eat, you're going to go, look, did you listen to me?
Yeah.
You go, yeah. And you're going to go, what did I just say then? Right? And then he goes, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, look, you do need to listen to me. Like, this is going to save your life out here. You would genuinely die if you don't listen to me. Right? And that's pretty much how he said it as well. That's traumatic, apparently. That's traumatic event number 1. Right? Second traumatic event is they spot a deer. And his father lines up the shot. And as he's lining up the shot, the boy just walks off with a loaded gun into the woods. Just walks off with a loaded gun into the woods. And the boy, he's got his gun and he's looking for the deer. Okay, sure, fine. And what he sees instead is a wolf man, right? So he sees another wolf man in the woods, and obviously he's a bit scared. And then it's a bit tense. And then his dad pops up and he's like, why did you run off? Like, where did you go? What are you doing? Obviously, clearly, he's got a loaded gun. He's walking off into the woods alone. Pretty dangerous stuff. Anyway, that's the generational trauma that his dad inflicted on him. A bit of stern parenting when it's required. Because then we flash forward to the future. I know this might be boring to some people, but I'm trying to paint a picture of how retarded this film is. Because I had to watch this shit. We flash forward to the future. He's walking through New York City or somewhere with his daughter. His daughter, those like plastic, like traffic bollard things that they're quite high up, right? His daughter starts walking on one of them. The traffic is immediately to the other side. And he's like, look, you need to get down from there. Please get down from there. Ginger, get down from there. She just fucking ignores him. And then when she eventually pays attention and gets down, he's like, look, you needed to get down from there. That's incredibly dangerous. Blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, actually. No, my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, are they, what? This is just normal parenting. But they're pitching it out to be generational trauma that this guy's got from his dad because he parented him. Anyway, and then he turns into a werewolf, and it's basically, and that's the end of the film because it's pretty shit, and I don't want to talk more about it. But that's my key take homes, is that this generational trauma situation is just normal parenting.
So lame. It's obviously sort of, coming from like that leftoid thing that, to tell anyone no ever is sort of morally wrong or something.
I couldn't believe it.
Nonsense.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I was just like, was I born in the wrong era or something? Like, what's going on here? Like, I don't understand. This is just normal parenting. But it's so incredibly boring. Like, and just another thing that doesn't make any sense about this goddamn film is, so the Wolfman thing is an infection, right? It's not actually supernatural. It's an infection that he gets, and it rapidly changes. It's a bloodborne virus, basically. And then it changes your body and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, at one point, after they kill the main Wolfman, which is obviously his father, because that was clearly going to be the case all along anyway, the guy gets infected, obviously. And at one point, his wife gets a bear trap on his leg, right? And so he gnaws through his leg because he's all Wolfmaned out, right? He gnaws through his leg, so he's got a stump hanging off, and he chases his wife and his daughter through the woods, quite far. So he'd be bleeding quite a lot. It's his entire lower limb is hanging off, like it's gone. So he'd be bleeding out. You'd think. Anyway, how does she kill him? Just shoots him. So I don't understand the logic of this film then. Surely he would have just bled out. No, he just shoots him. So how did he die then? Like, what is it? Can't die from bleeding out, but can die from a bullet. What? Such a fucking dumbass film. I hated this film so much.
Well, the people that wrote it or produced it or directed it or whatever, are they known sort of commies or whatever? Or they know
Leigh Whannell is a known feminist, apparently.
All right, there you go. So yeah, someone in the chat said, "Yeah, toxic masculinity. The idea that a man could ever say anything sort of firmly is wrong or something. It's just complete bullshit, isn't it?
It was just the lamest film. I know you guys haven't seen it, and it probably sounds a bit shit me trying to say this kind of stuff. Maybe a bit boring and not very engaging, but I had to get it off my chest because it is the lamest shit ever. So lame. They turned a Wolfman movie, a werewolf movie, into this, a lecture on parenting. It's funny the various movie tropes that there are. Like, for example, if someone coughs, it means they're dying, right? Someone coughs one time and everyone immediately spins round. It's like, yeah. What's wrong? You've obviously got a terminal disease. Or like, if there's someone that's got like thinning hair or a comb over, they're like a sex a pedo or some shit. That was the other thing. Like a guy, anyone that's like any sort of hillbilly type, even remotely, wears a baseball cap or something and goes hunting, they're evil. And they must be an evil racist or something. It's such bullshit, isn't it? Well, that was the other weird thing, and we'll move on from this because it's not that entertaining as a topic. But the other thing about this movie was he lost all of his hair, right? Which you can see here. Right, his hair starts falling out, but then he grows a bum fluff beard. He grows all of his hair comes out, but he grows a little straggly, 13-year-old bum fluff beard. It's like the weirdest thing. A Che Guevara beard. What kind of a design choice was that? Oh, I know what we'll do. Lose all of his hair, but it'll grow hair in like seconds on his face. And it's only a bum fluff beard. I was the lamest shit. Hated this movie. Do you have any questions, Culture, for this amazing movie?
I'm questioning why you went to see it. I'm questioning a whole lot of things, to be fair. I'm questioning why it was made. I'm questioning many things. This is obviously terrible. It didn't sound. Nothing you said would have inspired me to even look for this on streaming. But it does sound better than maybe watching like Joker or Folie à Deux again, but only barely. This sounds awful. I think this might be the worst movie of 2025 based on your descriptions. Based on the earnings, I would say it's definitely the worst so far. But it's okay. I mean, we're coming up on the amazing release of Captain America, so I think. I think that has a chance to lose a lot more money.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. But there you go, Wolfman. It sucked. It was absolutely terrible, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
How much money did it earn exactly?
12 million.
Globally?
Yeah, I think that's globally. Yeah,
stellar performance.
Like I say, go back and watch the original American Werewolf in London. It's actually a good movie. So
it's great.
I was recommending everyone watch Dog Soldiers. You ever watched Dog Soldiers?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
What do you reckon of Dog Soldiers, Bay?
I mean, it was low budget, wasn't it? You can't, that is what it is. It's not fair to really blame something if it's low budget. I thought it was all right. I watched it a long time ago, and I don't remember it all that well, to be honest. But I don't remember being annoyed that it was so terrible, and I don't remember thinking this is brilliant. I remember thinking, this is all right. So
I mean, this is clearly a better werewolf design than the Wolfman.
No, that's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah, if you've got a small budget, I always give a lot of credit to any filmmaker who hasn't got a big budget that makes something which isn't embarrassingly shit, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If you avoid that, then you've sort of done well. And I think it's fair to say Dog Soldiers falls into that category, but I don't recall it all that well, to be honest.
Yeah. Fair enough.